Okay, as the last few people are coming in, I would like to get started. We have some kids that have to try to make a concert at the library, which starts at 7 o'clock. So we're going to try to squeeze things right along, move things right along, so those kids can get in and get out and get up to their concert. I'd like to welcome all of you to our spring sports banquet. This is the Wellsville edition of a picnic inside. And as I watched it rain all day today, I kept reminding myself what a wise decision this was that we made this 3 weeks ago. Because we've tried to get it up on the turf field for years, and every year it seems to rain. So I was pretty thankful we made that decision 3 weeks ago. At this time, we're going to hear from our superintendent, Ms. Kim Mueller.
I wrote a 4-page speech so Denny would stop asking me to speak. But now that he said we're in a hurry, I'll go fast. It's not really a 4-page speech, I'm just kidding. It's been a busy week this week. Monday evening was a board meeting. That doesn't sound very exciting, but we were talking about improving teaching and learning for our students, so that makes it a good board meeting. On Tuesday evening, we had our senior art show and scholarship night. What an awesome night that is every year. On Wednesday, last night, we had the elementary school concert. They did a bang-up job. It's probably one of the best concerts I've ever heard while I've been here. How exciting is that for our music program? And of course, tonight's our sports banquet, honoring all our athletes and coaches and for the job that they did. Why am I sharing my schedule with you? Because this week is the epitome of what we do and why we do it. It's about our students, your children. We work diligently to provide them with opportunities to explore a diverse set of experiences, from the educational cornerstones of reading, writing, and math, to art, music, and athletics, never knowing which experience will be the one that brings the most meaning and focus to our students' lives. Thank you to all our parents for investing quality time and energy into your child's development. And thank you to our coaches, teachers, staff members, and all the many volunteers that assist in providing our students these many wonderful and diverse opportunities. Now to recognizing our student athletes. This year we had 175 student athletes competing in grades 7 through 12. Our boys track team won their sectionals for the 2nd year in a row. Our boys varsity baseball team, well, you wrote this, lost in the finals for the 2nd year in a row. Mr. Miles wrote that for me. They had a wonderful season. Give them a round of applause. And our boys tennis team won the Steuben County League title. Congratulations. Another interesting statement on the data that Mr. Miles gave me, and it says, "Thank the athletic director for an outstanding job once more." What a guy. Round of applause for Mr. Miles. 2 other very notable accomplishments. Nick Anderson was chosen as the Section 5 Class B Player of the Year. Congratulations, Nick. And that same Coach Miles was also chosen as the Coach of the Year. Congratulations, Coach. And of course, I can't end this without a quote. It's a fairly long quote, but it's hopefully it's meaningful. It's not about getting a scholarship, getting drafted, or making Sports Center. It's a deep need in us that comes from the heart. We need to practice, play, to lift, to hustle, to sweat, to compete. We do it for all our teammates. We don't lift weights with a future Olympic wrestler. We lift with a future doctor. We don't run with a future Wimbledon champion. We run with a future CEO. It's a bigger part of us than our friends and family can understand. Sometimes we play for 200 fans, sometimes for 25. But we still play hard. You cheer for us because you know us. You know more than just our names. Like all of you, we are still students first. We don't sign autographs for money, but we do sign college applications, SAT exams, and student body petitions. When we miss a kick or strike out, we don't let down an entire state. We only let down our teammates, coaches, and fans. But our hurt in our hearts is the same. We train hard, lift, throw, run, kick, shoot, dribble, swim, and lift. Some more, and in the morning we go to class. Still, the next day in class, we are nothing more than students. It's about pride in ourselves, in our school. It's about our love and passion for the game. And when it's all over, when we walk off that court or field for the last time, our hearts crumble. Those tears are real, but deep down inside, we are very proud of ourselves. We will forever be what few can call ourselves, high school athletes. Congratulations to all our spring athletes. You've had a wonderful season. Thank you.
Doesn't she do a nice job? Just wonderful. Now I want more money in the athletic budget, if you could come up with it. Oh. All right, if you're a major award winner, athletes, pay attention. When you come off the stage, go through this door right over here, and they'll take your picture out there that we would like to put in the paper and online. Remember that. Okay, be careful as you're going off the stage as well. All right, we're going to bounce all over the place because we have 3 teams that do have kids that have to be at that concert. So we're going to start out with girls track, and their coach is Chris Brown and Tom Rooney. If you guys would come forward, please.
While the girls are coming down, I'll give you a little brief overview of our season. We were 5-5 this year in our dual meet record. We placed 3rd at our annual spring day meet, and we placed 5th at sectionals, only with 11 athletes qualifying. This year, as you can see, we don't have as many as we usually do, but I was very proud to work with these ladies. They worked hard every day in practice, and every day they gave me 110%, and it really made it worthwhile. I'd like to thank our seniors and veterans for their great leadership and building great camaraderie amongst our team. Okay, before I go to awards, I'm going to do a few thank yous, and I promise it'll be quick. I'd like to thank our various volunteers that we have at our track meets. Running a track meet is not just to show up and everybody runs at the same time. It has to be kind of organized. So I'd like to thank Steve Madison, Brent Roberts, Darren Cornell, Ralph Stockman, Hallie Reed, Jessica Dixon, and Azure Decker for helping us out with that. Louise Madison and Melissa Graham for their great job on our concession stand this year. Also, I'd like to thank Sean Walsh and George Kinnicutt for their work with our throwers this year, and my fellow colleagues and coaches, Frank Smith, Christy Hall, Tom Rooney, Dean Giaplis. Thank you all. Okay, our first award is the most, or no, actually let me introduce the team. Gotta do that, sorry, I'm going fast. Okay. We have an 8th grader, Missy Graham. Step forward. We usually have 6 9th graders, but only 1 showed up today, Brittany Allen. 10th graders, we have Haley Messenger, Sarah Murphy, Chelsea Peterson, and Alyssa Smith. Our 11th graders are Kirsten Brady, Hannah Graham, Kelly Kane, and Mercedes Wilson. And finally, our seniors, if they would come forward when I call your name. Veronica Ebert. Laura Madison. Alyssa Staba. And Catherine Spare. The last last one's for you, Tom. He's a good guy. All right, most improved. This athlete it's been in track. This is her second year in track, and since last year, she has been dedicated to making herself a better athlete and a better track athlete. And for the entire off season, she worked tirelessly in the weight room, and even during practice, she was always there, worked hard every day, even staying late. She rarely missed a practice. All of this hard work combined for this athlete to improve in her two events. Her one event is the discus. She improved her throw by over 20 feet. And in the shot put, she improved by over 3 feet. It's quite an accomplishment. Haley Messenger. Most valuable track. This athlete is also in her second year in varsity track. She has become probably one of the best athletes in the area in her events. She also benefited from off-season training, and this dedication to her training has resulted in her breaking a school record this year as an 8th grader. And she also won an individual sectional title as an 8th grader. And to my recollection, I've been doing this a long time, I don't think we've ever had an 8th grader have a school record. She's only the 3rd 8th grader to win a sectional title for Wellsville. Missy Graham. Our most valuable field athlete. Again, this athlete is in her second year of track and field, and she has still continued to make her mark in this area in her events. She has dominated her events, again, for a second year. In our dual meet competition, she only lost twice in the discus and only once in the shot. The impressive part is during the invitational competition, she had a streak of 4 straight weeks where she won both her events at the Hornell Invitational, the Spring Day Meet, the Super 8 Invitational, and then finally at the sectional championships, she not only won both her events and set a meet record in those events and was named the outstanding field event athlete of the meet. She still has 2 more years, ladies and gentlemen. Alyssa Smith. And finally, the Coaches Award. This award goes to 3 athletes who have been part of our program for 4 or 5 years. Each of these athletes have been a part of our successes this year and in past years. Their contributions not only came on the track, but also off the track. They have their own way of being leaders and developing an influence amongst other teammates. For this, I am very appreciative. Their upbeat attitudes and personalities is what makes coaching fun and keeps bringing me back every year. Catherine Spare, Laura Madison, Alyssa Stava. Believe it or not, Mr. Miles, I'm done.
Okay, next up, we're going to shift gears and go to the JV softball team, and their coach is Ray Allman.
Okay, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Ray Allman. I'm not a teacher or anything here at school, so I'm only associated with the school through softball. This is my second year coaching the JV softball team. If I appear nervous, it's because I am. Okay. This season went from, I expected an undefeated season to a really up and down season. I think the biggest lesson learned this year was how valuable a pitcher is to this program. And when you lose your pitcher, you're scrambling to do the best you can do. And we did that, and after losing my pitcher, we brought the modified pitcher up onto our program, and she did a superb job for me. The season didn't really have any highlights to it. We didn't have any tournaments to play in. There was no big wins or big losses. If there was a biggest win, it would be the last game of the season when we beat Bolivar. We practiced all week, geared toward that game itself. They beat us a week prior to that pretty bad. So that was probably the highlight of our season. We finished the season with a record of 7 wins and 6 losses. Which was very good for the season that we had. It was, and everybody's season was impeded by weather. We didn't even get a game in for the first 3 weeks. And some of them games weren't even rescheduled because of the amount of time available and busing and all that. First, I would like to say thank you to a few people. Glenn Rethenberg come onto the team as a parent and helped me a lot with the kids and with coaching first base for me. He was a big help. Mark and Chris Sisson. Mark came on and helped coach first base, helped coach the kids, and Chris kept the book for me. Terry Pettit, she kept the book for me. The value of having a bookkeeper is a lot. As a coach, it's hard to sit out there and keep track of the book. Lori Ebert, she helped keep the book for me. Dennis Carnes, Dennis was a great help to me his first year as a coach, but when I needed something, there was not a problem with calling Dennis in all hours of the night. So Dennis was a big help. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Thad Lorschball. Thad was with me until Amy got moved up onto the varsity, and Thad brought a lot to my team, and I appreciated his help a lot. The 2 captains on my team, Mackenzie Nolan and Desiree Carrier. Courier, sorry, whatever. I pretty much let the captains run the team. I make decisions that override what they think a lot of times, but I do go by what the captain wants most of the time. The team members, I had 2 sophomores, which were Mackenzie and Desiree. Most of the team was compiled of freshmen: Sarah Stevens, Elena Grassdorf, Lauren Slavin, Amanda White, Caitlin Coleman, Jerica Mess, Taylor Costello, Christina Good, and Michaela Webster. I had 1 8th grader, which was Sydney Sisson, and my pitchers brought up from the modified team, a 7th grader, Jordan Pettit. This year's awards, I let the girls vote on the awards, and I usually override that with my opinion, but this year I went with what they voted, because I agreed with it. For offense, This girl either led off most of my games. I did change her deeper into the lineup a few times, but moved her back to the starting batting position. And she did a very good job offensively for me, Caitlin Coleman. Our defensive player was, I'm glad this player was chosen by the team also. You know, like I said, she came up on my team through the season from the modified team. She pitched very well for me. She fielded the ball well halfway through the season. We actually got her to throw the ball to the correct base. She batted well. She's going to be an all-around athlete here at Wellsville. She practices through the off-season, and she does a very good job. Jordan Pettit. My most improved player, this could have been one of 4 different girls. I contemplated who I would give it to, and then I read the votes that the team made, and I'm glad they voted this way. Sarah Stevens. Last was the coach's choice, who I call an MVP. This girl played shortstop for me most of the season. I did have her pitch once. I wish I would have got her in more often, but it didn't work out. She's a very good ball player, and I hope she does well in the future. Jerica Mess. Okay, last, I decided last year after I did this that there's some girls that put more into this program, I don't want to say program, put more into the team than others as far as working hard and just making an overall impression on the team. And this year, it's going to go to my captain, Mackenzie Nolan. And I got a ball from Mackenzie with all the names on it. Before you get the ball, you have to give a speech. Hurry, make it quick, he's in a hurry. Okay, she don't have to give a speech. I just wanted to embarrass her. Okay, that'll be it. Thank you, guys.
Next up is the JV baseball team, and their coach is Peter Mengel.
First of all, I want to start off by thanking Wellsville Central School Superintendent Ms. Mueller and also Athletic Director Coach Miles for allowing me the opportunity again this year. This is my 3rd season as the JV baseball coach. Baseball has always been a passion of mine, and I certainly enjoy sharing that with the young men here at the Wellsville Central School and developing their talents in baseball. First of all, I'll introduce our 2013 JV baseball team. We have a young team this year. We'll start with our sophomores, led by our captain, Logan Milligan, Liam Cunningham, Vince Irway, and Killian Groom, as well as Aaron Morse. 9th graders, Austin Crawford, Zach Dixon, Mike Giopoulos, Dylan Griffiths, Ethan Lanfear, Malik Ritter, and Luke Seeley. We also had 3 8th graders on the team, and they included Austin Collins, Carter Hoffman, and also David Lawson. From last year's team, we only had about, I think, 4 returners from last year's, and carrying that over into this season. We had such a young group of kids to work with, but they were all so very talented. And we set 2 goals at the start of the season. That was to, first of all, have a winning season, a successful season with an above 500 record. We accomplished that. We've had a total of 8 wins. And we also set another goal to win our own JV baseball tournament here in Wellsville. And we also accomplished that goal as well. So I'm proud of these guys for working hard and accomplishing the goals we set out at the start of the season. For our awards, I want to recognize our most valuable offensive player. And these first 3 awards were voted on by the players, most of the players. And the most valuable offensive player award goes to someone who certainly seemed to come through in the clutch. Almost every time there was a runner on base in scoring position, we needed to have a base hit. There's almost seemed like there's 2 out every time. He would always come through in the clutch when we needed him to, fight off tough pitches, and come through. Right in the end, it was Austin Crawford. Austin batted most of the season above 400 and always came through in the clutch, led the team in RBIs with 11. Most valuable defensive player, he could have also been selected as the most valuable offensive player because his offensive statistics were just as good. And he certainly deserved the defensive award as well, with his play in the field, being able to play almost any position we asked him to, whether it was shortstop or in the outfield. Mike Giopoulos. Most Improved Award goes to someone who came out this year, was his first year playing baseball in high school. He took a couple of years off. He was a sophomore this year, and he really worked hard throughout the course of the entire season. Came out as an outfielder. We talked him into catching for us, and he's still working on catching. He certainly looks like a very good catcher in the future and continues to work hard, and not only defensively working on his catching skills, but also offensively. Towards the end of the season, he really turned things on. He ended up being the only player that hit a home run for us this season, and also had 5 doubles as well. Killian Groom. And the Coaches Award, the award who I felt someone who certainly deserved to be recognized tonight. I don't know if he's still here. I know he had to leave early tonight. But Liam Cunningham, he was certainly a huge help to this team. Pitching is huge in baseball, and we were scratching for pitchers as well at the JV level. We needed someone who could throw strikes, and Liam Cunningham came out and threw strikes. He wasn't a pitcher, but he came out and threw well, and he ended up with 2 wins for us on the season, so certainly a great job for Liam Cunningham. I'd also like to thank my assistant coach, Seth Wright, who was unable to be here tonight, and I would like to thank him for the experience he brought to the team, all of his knowledge. Of course, being a graduate of Wellsville High School, playing varsity baseball here in Wellsville, certainly knows the program well. I'd like to thank him. I'd also like to thank the parents, as well as the parents who helped keep the scorebook for me as well this season, so a big thank you to all of you. 2013 JV Baseball Lines.
Okay, next up is varsity softball, and their coach is Dennis Carnes.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Carnes. I'm a first-year coach here at Wellsville. First, I'd like to thank Superintendent Mueller, the administration, and the parents for allowing me to coach this program this year. It's my first time officially coaching a high school girls team, and it's unique and different, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Roger Wishy, who I know is on vacation, for all his dedication and support to keep the maintenance up on the team and on the fields. And also, I'd like to thank Coach Miles for all his support, mentorship, and professionalism he showed me throughout the season. Next, I'd like to introduce the team, starting with my speechwriters, the 4 freshmen. Rihanna Anderson. We won't say anything, Rihanna. Just stay there. Amy Lorswell, Riley Hoffman, and Peyton Kai. 2 sophomores were on the team, Morgan McNeil, Tony Kling. 5 juniors, Kaylee Lewis, Cassie Marsh, Megan Klein, Jenny Lynn Stanton, and Emma Waterman, who made it. Great. And we had 1 lone senior, Megan Kai. First, I just want to start off saying we're an extremely young team. We started for most of the season 4 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and 1 senior. As the season went on, my motto, kind of as a coaching philosophy, was internal competition and performance plays. Those were the 2 things that I stressed to the girls was, keep the internal competition, what makes the team better as a whole, and your performance plays. If you're performing in front of the person behind you, then you're going to continue to perform. Competition is great, not only with other schools, but it's great within a program, and it seemed to work very well this year. That's why we had, I think, 16 different lineups in 19 games this year. I'd recap part of the season after a slow start. We started out 1-4. And the team worked hard and turned the season around. We ended up finishing the regular season 8-9. We ended up getting the number 8 seed in sectionals, and we finished 1-1 in sectionals for a final overall record of 9-10. Some of our key victories this year were big wins over Bath. We split with them. They beat us 12-7. We beat them 9-1. Hornell, for the first time in a while, 17-4. We had a tough game with Canisteo at home, extra innings, a 4-3 win. And we had a 7th inning comeback down 3-0 to Cuba Rushford and scored 4 runs in the top of the 7th to beat them. Some things that were imperative to our season. Key notes to the success, regardless of the record, because this year was definitely not grading this team off of a win-loss record. It was accomplishments and progression. We're the only team in Section 5 in the softball program that played 7 games in 6 days. Due to all the rainouts and reschedules, not being part of a program or a division, we had to take what other teams can give us. So they have play-in dates, play-out dates. So we scheduled them 7 games in 6 days. Remarkably, after a 1-4 start, the girls came back, played hard. We finished 5-2 that week. Our only 2 losses were to undefeated Addison. In that week, we outscored our opponents 62-28. And for the season, overall, we outscored all of our opponents as a whole, total. In perspective, 8 of our 10 losses came from either a state-ranked team, an undefeated team, or a sectional champion team, as it turns out. We played 6 state-ranked teams this year, and out of those 6, 4 of them were undefeated, and 3 of them became sectional champions. So if you look at a 19-game schedule, we played upper echelon competition this year that, quite frankly, 18, 19, 20 teams couldn't knock them off as well. However, when we played Attica, number 1 seed in sectionals, 20-0. As we walked off the field and we gave them a hard-fought battle, and we're in the game the whole time, we lost 8-4. Their coach, their scorekeeper, and their assistant coach came over and said, "It's a very solid team that you have. This is the toughest team that we played all year long." A 20-0 team That's a huge compliment to the young ladies that are standing over here, because they understood what it was to fight and never quit. We played to the last out of every inning. And it's a remarkable feat to know that 8 of your 10 games, you lost to either a state-ranked sectional champion or an undefeated team. You finished the season undefeated. And next year we'll get them. Next year we'll get them. Will they gain the experience, knowledge, and know-how? Next year they'll get them for sure. Overall, this was a great season and a step in the right direction for the future of this program, especially next year. Depending everybody comes back, we have 11 returners out of 12 players. Okay, because this is condensed and short, I want to move on to the awards, and I chose my awards a little different, and I'm going to present them in a little different manner. My most improved. Now, this person did whatever the team or the coach asked of her, always. Didn't matter what it was. Equipment, it didn't matter. Stay extra, it didn't matter. Do this, do that. She did it relentless. She always worked hard and always wanted to do the extra. Always asking, what can I do, coach? She was a utility player. When they signed up, I didn't know any of the girls. And I seen a utility player, and that's what I had my eye on as a coach, utility player. She can do anything. I had her shift up and down in the batting order. She played positions in center field, left field, shortstop, third base, and she was also my backup catcher. Beginning of the year, we were trying to teach the girls the imperatives of bunting, because it's huge in softball. And this girl got in the cage for the first time and was scared to death. She said, I can't bunt, coach. I said, you can bunt. Well, as it comes out, through her hard work, she actually had a game-winning bunt, RBI, against Kennesaw Greenwood in extra innings. So you can do it. Halfway through the season, her work ethic, support from her team, and passion, and leadership earned her an honorary captain's position that I appointed. Her leadership, her growth, her passion for the game and dedication just exemplified what you love to see in a young kid growing in athletics. And that award goes to Megan Klein. I want to shift gears to the defensive MVP. Could have went a lot of different directions with this. Again, with Megan playing all 9 positions pretty near. The importance of that. And to go with Coach Miles and I had quite a few conversations. And the thing that kept sticking in my mind is, without a catcher, you're nobody. You can have the best pitcher out there, you can have the best defensive team, the best hitting team, but if you have nobody behind the plate that can manage the game and take the charge back there, you're going to lose a lot of games. And I really pushed this player. I got on her at times to let her understand the importance of her position and how it holds a team together. She only had 6 pass balls on the whole season that allowed her to run in. At this level, that's pretty good. That's pretty phenomenal. She threw out over 80% of the base stealers this year. She caught every inning for us this year, which is a huge feat. 7 games in 6 days, let alone. And she was extremely instrumental behind the plate. And she learned, one of my jobs was to teach my catcher how to catch and how to be a leader from behind the plate. It wasn't me standing out there calling every pitch. It was teaching my catcher how to understand what the count is, what the pitcher's pitches are, and how to utilize them effectively. And she did this. It took time. And we got beat sometimes and we got burnt sometimes, but it was something that I was willing as a coach to make that dedication to teach her to be the best that she could and learn that position full-heartedly. And this award goes to Morgan McNeil. The next award is the Coach's Award. Many choices here. One stood out the most, and that was basically the position that I put her in early in the season, the positions I put her in throughout the season, and the performance that she gave throughout the season in more towards the end of the season. Definitely showed maturity and growth, and it showed a lot of leadership characters. I pulled her up 1 week, as Coach Ray said. One pitcher at the varsity is not going to cut it. We need two. I had to pull her up 1 week before the season started. I told her, I'm not sure how many innings you're going to get to pitch, but you're going to pitch for me at the varsity level. I want you to play first base for me. She looked and said, I'll play first base. She's never played first base before. So as a freshman, she had 3 things to worry about: hitting, pitching, and fielding first base, a new position she's never played. She worked hard, she learned quick, she stayed after practices to get more ground balls and throws at first base. She stayed after where her hitting slumped and slowed down. She stayed after to take a few more pitches after practice. She showed exceptional growth throughout the season. As a freshman, she was solid on the mound, as much as you can ask of a freshman and more. She finished with a record of 5-4 this year. She had 59 strikeouts, 21 base on balls, only gave up 39 hits in 55 total innings. Statistically, that's among the best of the best in the B division. Also as a freshman, a huge feat that she had a no-hitter, almost unheard of, against Jasper Troopsburg, the 6th game of a 7-game spring that we had. Probably the highlight of her young career, other than that no-hitter, which is hard to come by. First game of sectionals, I gave her the nod. I wanted to change things up a little bit, playing Grease Odyssey. I gave her the nod to pitch. Not only did she go out there and pitch a phenomenal first inning, the first inning that we all wish we could have, she had 2 grand slams, legitimate grand slams, in the first inning. She was 3 for 3 for the game. She had 9 RBIs and got her first sectional win. If that's not a day, I don't know what is. I've been around sports all my life. That's a day. During sectionals, she batted over 800. She was 4 for 5 hitting. She also had 2 stolen bases and 3 runs scored. The decision, or one of the best decisions I made, was to bring her up, get her that varsity experience behind the mentorship of Megan Kai, who's been doing this for a long time. And it proved positive for us. Our most deserving of a coach's award is Amy Marshmallow. Finally, the MVP offense. Through the ups and downs, being a new coach, we had 1 senior. I lean on that senior a lot for leadership. I lean on her a lot for lessons in the past. She's got 5 years in the varsity softball program here at Wellsville. She plays all year round. She's dedicated to the sport, and this is her passion. Sometimes I took her away from her own personal development in the gym during the month-long gym sessions that we had. I had to sit down and talk to her about previous seasons and players and positions, and getting her advice, letting her be that senior leader to help and assist to put us in the right direction. She's always been the consummate leader, and she's just a fantastic person. Everything she does with a smile. I don't think I've ever seen her get upset, down, and mad. She's always positive. She has a great attitude. She's always willing to help others. She's just a fantastic all-around person. And I coach other varsity sports and in the community, or in the county. And I haven't come across one that is as professional, is positive attitude, just a great all-around person as Megan Kai. She's given more back to this program in 1 year than I think she has the previous 4 years. Her leadership will only be tested next year when these girls take the softball field. And I think it's important that every girl owes a debt of gratitude to what Megan brings to the table. She's, for the season, she batted over .529, which is great. She had 21 singles, 5 doubles, 2 triples, 1 home run, 24 runs scored, 10 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, 14 base on balls. She had over a 700 on-base percentage it was more around 789 on base percentage, which means almost 8 times out of 10 she was on base for us. And almost every time she was on base, she scored. She led the team also in 7 of 10 offensive categories for the season. She's been nominated for the All-Greater Rochester All-Star Team, and she's also been nominated for the All-State All-Star Team. Those decisions will come back within 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have great news that we'll report to her as well as the community if she makes those. And I think, hands down, you will make one of those teams. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your help and assistance this year and your dedication. Thank you. And again, in closing, I just want to thank, again, the administration for giving me this opportunity, and Superintendent Mueller, Coach Miles. I want to give a big thanks to Thad Lorschball. He was up and down. He was down with the JV program. Pulled his daughter up. We went through trials and tribulations, getting set on what my program was and how I wanted it established. And he stuck through everything through the thick and the thin, and I appreciate that, Thad, for being professional, and holding the fort down and helping me when I needed help, and giving me wisdom when I needed wisdom. So again, it takes a complete organization to make a program, not just one person. And again, I thank all of you, and I thank this great team up here. Thank you.
Okay, next up is the golf team, and their coach is Brian Myers. If you'd come forward.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to steal the thunder, but because it wasn't in my hands. Could I get Megan Kite to come back up, please? And all the girls back in. That's why we all have a right-hand person. My fiance Kelly reminded me. I had it back here and I forgot. Megan also was instrumental. Every Monday she gave motivational text to everybody. And on behalf of the team, I just want to present you with something that we did for you. We gave 8 motivational speeches or texts that she gave to the team on Mondays. Sometimes we sat down and analyzed them, what it meant to us as a team, how we could implement it in our day-to-day activities. And so I thought it was most deserving that we got some pictures from our folks and had a nice picture frame with your motivational speeches from the team.
All right, golf team, you're done. We don't have enough time for you guys. So next up is the tennis team. You have to understand, Dennis comes from Sile, where the banquets last 4 hours. So we'll work on that.
I'm also from Sile. Okay, I'd like to thank the Wellsville Country Club, its pro Nick Smuda, for letting us play at their course. I also want to thank the parents, bringing the kids to practice and to meets, or not meets, what do they call it? Matches. And also staying up late, because Denny always gave us that schedule a mile away, or miles away, so thank you, parents. I'll introduce the team. This year we had, at the most, we had 23. Apparently half of them quit. 7th grade, Aiden Brown and Brandon Bailey. Or did I say it's 8th grade? 7th grade. Okay, 8th grade, Lucian Kalkoff. 9th grade, Cooper Buckley, Liam Ebert, Mike Walsh, Austin Winans. 10th grade, Connor Ensley, Stone Skeeter, Pat Walsh, Dakota Chafee, Kevin Walsh, Jordan Wonderling, Austin Allsworth. 11th grade, Joey Zimmerman, Robert Walsh, Jacob Knapp, and 12th grade, Nate Piscatelli, Mac Wilson, and Elaney Davis. Did I forget any Walshes? You got 4? Okay. I want to thank my 3 seniors. Elaney's not here tonight, but she was a first-year player and did an outstanding job. I want to thank Mook. He's been with me for 4 years. I'm not going to cry, Michelle. I'm not going to cry. He's been with me 4 years. Just really dedicated, worked hard. And then the class clown, Nate Piscatelli. He wasn't always our best golfer, but he was a lot of fun in the band. We finished 16-6. 3 of our losses were by less than 3 points. We beat a good Addison team and went to sectionals. This is arguably the best team I've ever had in my 5 years. We still have many key players returning, so I'm hoping we could make sectionals next year. Both Stone and Joey were medalists in matches, which means of the 12 golfers, they had the best score that day. I will now announce the award winners. Most improved. With this many newcomers this year, there was many worthy candidates. This individual is a second-year player who works extremely hard, improved his scoring average by more than 7 strokes, and is only going to get better. Dakota Chafee. Coach's Award. This individual ended up 3rd in scoring average. He's a second-year player and arguably the hardest worker on the team. He eats, sleeps, and breathes golf. He bugs me all the time. We haven't practiced. So, but he's just a fanatic. It's awesome. He was very excited when he beat Stone last match. Kevin Walsh. He wore his golf shoes, I'm not sure why. MVP. This is the 3rd year in a row he has been MVP on this team. He was a medalist in over half our matches. Although he didn't make sectionals this year, I have no doubt that he will next year. Like the other 2 award winners, he is only a sophomore. Stone Skeeter. Thank you, and I did not cry, Michelle.
See, Kim, I bet you don't see that in Depew. People wearing their golf shoes to the banquet, do you? It's a Wellsville thing. That and bowling shoes. You might see bowling shoes up here, too. All right, the next group up is the tennis team and their coach is Bill Stives.
Okay, good evening. First we'll start with the introductions. One lone freshman, Jacob Seaver. Sophomores, Scott Miles, Sean Murphy, Zach Kale, Ryan Cole. Juniors, Chris Bierman, Ricky Smith, Brendan Butler, and Drew Bird is at Wave right now. And seniors, Captain Dylan Smith, Wyatt Stanton, Sam Cook, who's also at the Wave concert right now, and Giacomo Philsetti. Well, I'd like to start with my thank yous. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Miles, Roger Wishy, custodial staff, Jay Ballard, bus drivers, teachers and administrators, and people who have helped all year long. I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Smith for helping keep the book. I know there's not a lot to keep in tennis, but it helps me a lot, so thank you. I'd like to also thank Jim Sweet and Paul Janis for all the great press. And I have a great group of parents that come down and help a lot, so thank you for your support. Thank you for being supportive at the matches. I appreciate it. I know the kids really appreciate it, so thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank the team for all their hard work and the extra time they put in this year. It's really showed. I think that's why they're as good as they are. Thank you very much. Yeah. This group is a class act, and I've enjoyed hitting with them, practicing with them. If we eat out afterwards, just a nice bunch of gentlemen to be around, and I'm very proud, very honored of this group up here. You can give them a hand, please. Well, this year, I think we had a pretty good season. They put together a 13-6 season. For the first time ever, we won the Steuben County League title. Usually Alfred Allen gets that, but we did it this year. Good job, guys. I know Fillmore was a little bit better at the Bolivar tournament, but we managed to get second place. Again, I think they did a nice job. Then, because of our good record, we earned the number 4 seed in the team sectionals. And first round, we beat number 5 seed North Rose Wolcott. And then we got to meet the number 1 seed Williamson. Now, we played a really hard-fought match against Williamson. Williamson, by the way, went on to win it all. Despite them being the best team, I thought we played very hard, and I thought we matched up well. And who knows? I mean, their team is all juniors, but I like the people that are coming back next year, and I really think that's something we got to circle on our calendars. And I look forward to working with these guys, and maybe next year see if we can do it. I think we can. All in all, we had a pretty good season. And a lot of the guys are pretty young. My veterans played really well this year, but I really like the way my young guys improved. And again, I think if we keep this up, they're going to be just great in the future. Not that they're not great now. And much of the team's success was the result of all the hard work they put in during the off season. I had people go over to Olean this year to hit indoors at the ladder matches. I don't know if you drive by the tennis courts, a lot of times it seems to always be people out there hitting and playing, which I love to see. And I was saying, to be great, you got to play every day, and a lot of these guys have, and I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for all the hard work. Individually, we've had some guys go to the individual sectionals. For singles, we've had Chris Bierman went, and Scott Miles. For doubles, Dylan Smith and Ricky Smith went as a doubles team. Sean Murphy and Wyatt Stanton went as a doubles team. Scott Miles, he did lose in the first round, but at the sectionals up at Gage Chilai. But if you do that, you get into the consolation tournament. He went all the way to the finals, and that's the 8. If you figure there's 16 of the top players there, and in that first round, 8 of them are out. Those 8 are still pretty good. They run another tournament. Scott made it all the way to the finals, and he played an opponent that sort of mirrored himself, but I thought he did a nice job, but I think that was quite an accomplishment. Also, I'm very proud of what the other guys did while they were at sectionals. Now, next year, the team will miss our seniors, Dylan and Wyatt and Sam and Jack. Hope you guys keep playing tennis. You know, it's a lifetime sport. And again, in any capacity, it doesn't have to be competitive, maybe just hitting with your family, but I hope you keep it up. And maybe I'll hope to play against you sometime or see you down to the courts. I'm definitely going to miss you, the team will, but I'm also looking forward to working with the returning players for next year. And thank you for a great season. Now the awards. Guess we'll start with the Coaches Award. This player This player won 10 matches for us this year and did a great job at the third singles all year for the team. I've had this player for 4 years, and I've seen him grow from someone who would serve and the ball would go way over the fence, and to someone who's very steady and just a fine player. And I've been very proud to have and just to see all the improvement that he's made. This year he was the captain, went to the individual sectional tournament for doubles, and he is a senior and will definitely be missed next year. Congratulations, Dylan Smith. Next will be most improved. This player won 16 matches for the team this year, and he played at first doubles and second singles, and he did a terrific job filling in for us at third singles during the team sectionals. This guy has put in a lot of time at the courts. He's down there more than I am, which is quite a bit. I think I should have got him some sunscreen and hat or something like that, because I think he's going to need it. But this person, I think, is really loves the game of tennis and has really made tennis a priority, and it makes me really proud to see the time and effort that he puts into it. One good thing I do like about him, I'm probably exaggerating, but his forehand is Nadal-like, and I hope the rest of his game gets that way, and I expect a lot of good things from him in the future. Congratulations, Sean Murphy. Okay, and finally, the MVP award. This player won 18 matches for the team this year for us. He played first and second singles, and this player advanced to the finals of the consolation tournament against Chile. This person showed a lot of great athleticism, and he could, no matter what ball you would hit to him, he would get it back, and he would get it back, and he'd get it back. And he frustrated the heck out of so many opponents, and they would be upset or throwing their rackets, or he would just make them make the mistake. But anytime you thought you had a winner against this player, he would get it back one more time, which was the absolute goal of this game. I found that out when I was playing him. Gee, I just could not put him away. I thought I had him, but couldn't do it. I think just a super player, and just really glad to have him on the team, and I expect great things from him in the future too. Congratulations, Scott Miles. And again, I think this team is a class act, and there's no other team I'd rather be with. They're awesome, and this concludes the tennis section of the banquet. Thank you.
Before we leave the stage, I would like to, on behalf of the team, thank Bill Stives here, whose dedication, in fact, who lives on the tennis courts. If you look out there, sometimes you can see a little tent all pitched and everything else. And he has a huge heart, and he taught us that even if we don't win, like this year, we went phenomenal season, that the game is more in here than it is a plaque up on the wall. So just want to thank Stives and on behalf of the team.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next up is the varsity baseball team. If you'd come forward.
Coach Miles and I are going to Snapchat.
What is that? I don't even have a cell phone, so I'm not sure what that is. All right, I'd like to start out and introduce the squad, and this is at just kind of a random order. Kind of acknowledge, raise up your hand. You don't need to step forward, but Jared Costello, Kirby Weinhauer, Nick Charlou, Matt Inslee, Brett Migliori, Mark Bolander, Nick Anderson, Dusty Baldwin, Josh Klein, Justin Fisher, Hunter Kane, William Brace, Dirtbag Sheets, Brady Lewis, and Jason Dixon. If you give them a nice round of applause. Before I talk about the season, I'd like to thank a couple people as well. First of all, John Anderson, who's up here, and Jim Inslee, who could not be here tonight. Our assistant coaches, and it's kind of like having two varsity coaches along with me on the sidelines. They could probably be the best coaches for most of the districts in this area if they were their varsity coaches. So I can't think where I would be without those guys or where the program would be without them. So big thanks to them. Our stat girls, Rachel Ellison and Sarah Hennessy. Our manager, McGuire Inslee, is he up here? McGuire? Okay. To you parents, for your many, many late dinners and your support to all the games, we certainly would like to thank you guys. JV coach Peter Mengel, he's just an excellent coach. Very low key, but knows the game of baseball and is very much appreciated. And we had a new modified coach this year, Thane Graves, and I think he's going to do a wonderful job once he learns the system. So thank you to all of you. As Kim said at the beginning, we had a great year this year. We were 21-2. At one point, we had won 13 in a row. And the school record to start a season was 14. We didn't quite get there, but we certainly gave it a whale of a try. For 5 out of 6 weeks, we were the #1 team in New York State, Class B. We were also the #1 team in Greater Rochester for the small school division for the entire year, which is kind of difficult to do. We were the #1 seed for sectionals in Class B for the 2nd year in a row. We just had a wonderful year. Unfortunately for us, we lost in the finals again to Wayland-Cohocton for the 2nd year in a row. Kind of put a damper on everything, but I think once these guys go away and they look back years from now, they're going to remember all of the great moments we've had, and hopefully you guys have built some wonderful memories that you're going to take with you for a lifetime. And now for the awards. First up is the MVP on defense. This pitcher had a monster year for us again this year. He won 13 games, which is a school single season record. With those 13 wins, he ended up with 29 total wins in his career, which is also a school record. This year he had 133 strikeouts, which is second all-time behind Glenn Law, if some of you remember that name. Glenn was here in, I think, 1978, and just a wonderful athlete. He was named the most valuable player of the regular season in Class B. Simply put, he had an amazing year for us, and this year's award is his 2nd year in a row of winning the MVP on defense, Nick Anderson. That's his 3rd year in a row. I stand corrected. Next up is MVP on offense. Like Nick, this senior also had a great year. He led the team in walks, runs, hits, stolen bases, and batting average. He's a person that I use as an example all the time to some of the younger kids. I'll say, you need to be a person of excellence. And what I mean by that is you're not only an excellent athlete on the field, but you got to be a person of excellence off the field, in the classroom, when you're dealing with your parents, when you're dealing with people. And I use this person as an example all the time because he truly is a person of excellence on and off the field and in everything he does. He's not here tonight, but this year's MVP on offense, and he certainly will be missed next year, is Matt Inslee. Most improved. This award for the second year in a row goes to a catcher who had very little experience the year before. I was looking at two different options, and both of those were sophomores, and my goal was to bring one of those two along and make them the catcher of the future, while also having them obviously catch for this year. But this senior just worked so hard, and through his own efforts, he bypassed both of them. And he solidified our team in making it what it was. And this, he became an outstanding receiver, and very seldom did he let a ball get by in a game. This year's most improved goes to senior Mark Bolander. The last award is the most dedicated award, and this award is going to a player that did not play as much as he would have liked, but he always put the team first. No one on the team cheered for his fellow teammates than this guy did. And for some of you athletes out there, sometimes that's a very difficult task when you're there as a team member and you wish you were out there playing, and to have a great attitude and be actually cheering on the people that are playing ahead of you is a very difficult task, but it says an awful lot about your character. This year's most dedicated goes to sophomore Hunter Kane. And Nick, you're up.
I didn't really plan on speaking until I remembered that seniors got some stuff for the coaches. But before I talk about that, I just want to thank absolutely every single person who's ever supported this team and supported the kids who are on this team who have played since we started Little League and on through Modified and JV through varsity sports. I can't really explain to you how amazing it feels to see that this town supports this program and that it's still, making you guys proud. Like I said, I wasn't really prepared to speak, but we did get 3 things for the coaches. We got them some gift certificates to the country club because I'm very last minute, and that was the best thing I could think of. So I want to thank Coach Miles, Coach Inslee, and my father, Coach Anderson. My parents have been probably the most important thing toward any success I've had through sports, through schooling, absolutely everything. My mom has supported me in ways that I would have never expected, and my dad has been by my side through every single thing I've done, through practices, I'm pretty sure he's been on the coaching staff for every single sport I've ever played. I couldn't be more thankful for them and for every other parent who has supported me and supported this team, and that's about it. Thank you.
You seniors come over and get your picture. And while they're leaving the stage, we have one more group to come up. And certainly we try to save the team that did the best or that went farthest. And when they're coming up here, I'd like you to all stand up and give them a standing ovation for the second year in a row, Section 5 champions, our boys track team. And their coaches, will come forward.
Thank you. You know, one of the things that you get a chance to observe during seasons like this, and to have it culminate, almost culminate for us, we still have one athlete who's still participating, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I do want to say thank you to all of you for staying here. I think it shows when Nick talked about support that this community has. It's pretty neat to see and have so many teams that have been so successful this spring. I think it's testament to Mr. Miles, the coaching staff that he's assembled to be able to have competitive sports in virtually everything that we do. We don't have an awful lot of athletes to draw on from this school. But what we have, I do believe that we get the very most out of. And I think that comes from the heart and the pride that these people demonstrate. My congratulations to all you athletes. I truly wish, and I deep down believe, you know, baseball, you beat Waco twice, and I think they just called one lucky break. But in our minds, you did a fantastic job. And to all of our teams, I'd like to wish you the best as far as what comes down the road. For our guys, what a year. We set this goal at the very beginning. We had a pretty good nucleus of young men returning. I knew what type of talent we had. We had an influx of some people who had outstanding talent that really didn't know an awful lot about track and field. But the one thing that they had in common was a willingness to work and a willingness to want to get better. And they believed in a goal. And each and every single person on this team is, they all contributed, whether they participated in that meet or not. Through every practice that we went through, we made each other better. And I want to challenge you. I'd like to challenge all of our athletes as far as not only do you work hard, but being at the elementary school now, I see how many young kids look up to what it is that you do and how much they respect and value you for what they see on the field. And what they need to be successful in life is that dedication, but it's also a belief in themselves, and it's a belief that academics do pave the way to better things. So I challenge you to be role models. I challenge you, when you see kids, to encourage them to do their best in all that they attempt. They're going to look up to you, and you're going to need them down the road. I'm incredibly proud of the character that we demonstrate, but with each and everything, I'd like to challenge each and every one of us to be just a little bit more. So, I guess I'm going to say that as a principal, please help our kids. I'd like to recognize the people on our team right now. I'm going to go alphabetically, and the first person on the list that is on this list is actually Marshall Brady. Marshall right now has probably finally arrived in Middletown, New York, where he will be competing in the pentathlon at the New York State Track and Field Championships, and I'll get into him a little bit more. Guys, as you call your name, please make sure that people know who you are. Tyler Bryan, Taylor Brophy, Alex Brown, Zach Cunningham, Bryce Davis, Ryan Dunham, James Emser, Richie Ewell, Mark Gorski, Chris Harris, Corey Harris, Tyler Hint, Don Kane, Jim Maxwell, Kyle McCartney, Cameron Pettit, Mitchell Riccio, Brent Roberts, Trey Salazzo, Sean Schreiner, Tom Truax, and Caleb Van Skyver. This is your Class Level C Section 5 championship team. We had a 9-1 record this year. The only meet that we lost was the very first one of the year. It was to Olean, which was a strong team. I would certainly love to run them again and see how the tables would turn out when we have a full squad. But it sort of set the tone for what we needed to achieve. This team, very early in the year, I was a little bit nervous about how loose they were. When we drove up to Bath, I was sort of wondering what it was that we had. And I challenged them about their mental preparation as well as their athletic preparation. They didn't let me down, and they still are a loose bunch, but they're with each other, they're for each other, and when it comes down to business, they play the game of track awfully darn hard. At our sectional meet, we were one of 5 teams that had a chance at winning. And when you look at track, you can look at the numbers and what you're supposed to do, and they take your personal best for the whole year from us and all the 20 other teams that were competing. And on paper, we stood a pretty good chance. We were scheduled, if everything held the way it was supposed to receive 81 points. We ended up scoring over 100 points because we had people who rose from places that they were not supposed to score, and we needed each and every one of those points. I remember at the end standing with Mr. Cunningham watching the triple jump because it really came down to that event as the way things laid out. And Marshall was the person that was getting ready to perform. And essentially, he needed to beat the one kid from the team that we were going up against that at that time emerged as the second runner to us, which was Perry. And all I can remember thinking is, I've got a person for 5 years that I've relied on that has been the most strongest competitor that I've seen basically hitting cleanup for us. And he didn't let us down, and after one jump, we were sectional champions. So it was a team effort of people coming out of nowhere. It was a team effort as far as people holding their seeds. But it was a great meet, and we needed each and every ounce of effort from each and every one of our kids who participated. So I'd also, before I get into the awards, would like to thank a number of people as far as the assistance they provided us with this year. You have no idea what it means to be able to go to practice each and every day with 2 of your closest friends in the world, and Chris Brown and Tom Rooning, to work with. They're wonderful with kids, they're great coaches, they're better people, and if any 2 people can be better friends, I haven't found them. I'd like to thank Frank Smith for everything he's done with our throwers. I'd like to thank Christy Hall for her help. And I'd like to thank Denny Miles for his help in the background and just being able to bounce some different ideas off of people every now and then and to help with that. So now for our awards. I'm going to start with Marshall. Again, he is not here. He is our most valuable athlete in the field. Hi, Marshall. Yeah. What Marshall has done, and I told him this the other day, I've coached for 30 years now, and he shattered the record in the pentathlon. He shattered his own record by more than 400 points, which means he was basically one full event better than what he had been previously. The numbers that he put up were absolutely amazing. He holds the record in the pentathlon. He holds the school record in the triple jump, which he broke this year. It was a record that stood for 34 years. He is a member of a 1600-meter relay team that broke the school record last year. And believe it or not, he has a chance to break his own record again. He has a chance to break the record in the 110 hurdles. He has a chance to break the record in the long jump. And he has a chance of breaking the record at the high jump this Friday and Saturday. He has been there for us for 5 years, and we would not have had the success we had at sectionals without him. So Marshall is our MVP as far as a field athlete. It's easy to say that, boy, anybody, there's so many people that contributed. All of these kids deserve some sort of award, and obviously not everyone can get them. So I just want people to know that there's a ton of talent up here, and I'm going to go to one of our next kids is the most improved in the track award. That goes to Mitchell Riccio. Mitchell, last year we trained him as a hurdler. I watched how well he looked early this year as far as running distance races. He just really turned it on and ended up being one of our main cores in the 3200 relay. As a sophomore, he finished a great season. You're going to be reading an awful lot about this young man in the near future. Congratulations, Mitchell. A Coach's Award goes to Alex Brown. Alex is a pole vaulter and a distance runner, and that combination is virtually unheard of except for Wellsville. You know, there were an awful lot of times where in the middle of Alex's event in the pole vault, which is probably his best event, he'd have to take off to run a mile and then come back and have the pole vault and then go back and have to run 2 miles and have the pole vault. It was a little bit taxing, especially on the days when I made him run the steeplechase, so he got to run 2 miles over hurdles and water and still come back and do what he needed to do in the pole vault. Just a great kid who works incredibly hard, and without him in those distance events, we would have been lost. So congratulations, Alex, and thank you. Donnie Kane is another winner of our Most Dedicated Award. Donnie's been running in pain all year long, and essentially I started the year with him in 2 events, but found out that basically we really just needed to make sure he could run 1 hard race, and he gave it everything he had, every single race he ran, and he was there for his teammates throughout the whole year this year, which I was really pleased with. We sort of lost him for a little bit last year, but he found his way. But this kid works hard, and he gives everything that he can for our team, and he's what this program is about. So thank you, Donnie. Our MVP, as far as a runner goes, this kid has a wealth of talent, and I've challenged him probably harder than any other athlete over the last couple years because I've seen what he's capable of doing. At sectionals this year, he responded by winning the 100, by winning the 200, by coming out of nowhere to take 3rd place in the long jump, and by being a member of our 2nd place 4x100 meter relay team. It's my privilege to recognize Brent Roberts, the answer, as our MVP in track. Finally, when you build a program, you want to start it with kids who are anchors. They might not be your kids that have the greatest talent, but they're your kids who are willing to work, that want to get better, that show pride and passion in everything that they do. I've had the privilege of, I'm going to say, Coach Jimmy Maxwell. He's basically a pole vaulter, which means that Coach Tom Rooning is the person who has worked with him virtually all these years. But Jimmy brings it every single day. And again, he was another kid at sectionals that was supposed to take 4th. He ended up coming in 2nd. He learned to master using a new pole at the last minute. But he's everything that you want as far as an athlete. He's a great kid. He means a lot to his teammates. He's there for them. And he's a phenomenal leader. And I'm going to miss all these seniors that are leaving. But I want people to recognize what a great kid Jimmy Maxwell is. And again, thank you to all of you for sticking around and listening to this. But I'm going to say this, guys. We got enough talent to do this again. And I'd like to keep this baby on a roll. Let's shoot for 3, okay? All right.
All right. Well, everybody knows you're supposed to get your coaches something at sports banquet in your senior year. We're going to get them a coonskin hat. You see, after numerous nights of going out at nighttime and looking for raccoons, we couldn't find them. So we figured they've coached us to get these trophies, so why not make them some of their own?
You know, for a second I thought they were going to get me a pet raccoon, and I can't take it anymore. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. We only have 3 real short presentations, but they're very important ones because it's for the district-wide, not just spring sports. And parents, don't forget to pick up your bowls, dishes, and stuff down at the cafeteria. Athletes, make sure you see your coaches afterwards for your pins, bars, letters, and stuff. It'll mean a lot to you later on in life. Okay, the first award is the Teresa Burdick Award, and that is given by Chris Brown.
Every year, the track program gives out an award for the male and female senior track athlete who epitomize the characteristics of loyalty and dedication and character in the track and field program. This year's recipients are 2 very good recipients. The first recipient, I've had the pleasure of coaching for quite a long time, and we've heard tonight about character and leading your team, etc. This girl has it all. Veronica Ebert. And excuse me. And our male recipient is a fella who came out for the first year this year, but he still was very important around sectional time, and again, dedication, loyalty to the program. I'm sure Coach Jeffs wishes he had been on the team a few more years. Zach Cunningham.
Okay, next up is the Terry Norris Awards, and they are going to be given by Michelle Elvord.
Good evening. Congratulations to all the athletes. Terry Norris was a 3-sport athlete at Wellsville High School, and he excelled at football, basketball, and track and field. He was a very gifted athlete and that people looked up to both figuratively and literally. Terry Norris was more than just an individual. He was more than just his individual accomplishments. He was the consummate teammate. He always put the team first. He was a true role model, and he embodied the characteristics that we've talked about as coaches tonight, and we instill in our Wellsville High School athletes today. The Terry Norris Award is selected by a committee of administrators, faculty, and current student athletes, and this year's committee would like to honor Megan Kide and Marshall Brady.
And the last one is the Sid Miles Award, and that goes to the top male and female athlete in the senior class. And it's chosen by a committee that is headed by John Giapoulos. Besides a plaque, which is coming, they also will receive a $150 scholarship. And both of these athletes I do not think are here tonight, but we could give them a nice round of applause. For the men, it is Matt Inslee. You can give him a round of applause. And for the ladies is Brittany Messler. And don't forget to pick up your dishes, and you've been a wonderful crowd, and have a great summer ahead of us.